Yeah, it's a rodeo here every morning on the Watchdog Morning Show. It's 8:41, 19 to the hour. 47 degrees, Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. 44 at the Highlands. 44 in Elm Grove. And 46 degrees here at the Watchdog Radio Network studios. Bob Slider is usually the guy who goes out and checks to make sure if it's sunny or raining. You didn't have to go out, but you did discover it was raining.
I gave the bishop a pat on the back, and I realized it must be raining outside.
Bishop Darrell Cummings here with us in studio. It's always a pleasure to have you here with us.
It's an honor to be here, sir. Thank you.
Bob, I just had a great idea. Another great idea for today. We could, when we get our chopper, because the bishop is now an international star, we could help fly him around places on the Watchdog Morning Show chopper.
We could provide a little transportation,
absolutely. Hey, transportation is expensive. I'd love to have some help.
See, you may be aware, Governor Justice's helicopter was repossessed recently. And
no, I didn't know that.
From private company, from his private companies.
Okay.
And by a bank he owes money to. And they put it up for sale. And I'm thinking, and you know the bosses here too.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and convince the bosses
to
buy the chopper, and we could have the Watchdog Morning Show helicopter.
Hey, I go for it. Go for it.
We could take, we would help get you around places.
I'd be honored.
I think, and we could use it to go, cover ball games. And the most important thing is Bob and I could use it to go to lunch.
Hey.
We'll get back to Elm Grove when they shut down the Memorial.
Yes.
Chopper idea is growing and growing.
Hey, I'm for it.
Every time you're here, I talk about this. You are traveling like crazy. It looks like you can do more. I saw a piece you put on Facebook. One day you went, I think, Wheeling to Cleveland to Dallas, and back to Wheeling in 24 hours. Jiminy Christmas.
Right.
You must get frequent flyer miles.
We do, but we don't have a whole lot. But we do a lot of driving.
Yeah.
Just like we were in South Carolina for the Bishop Board's meeting on last week. And so that was a 10-hour drive there and a 10-hour drive back. So, but it was an honor to be there. Anytime you reach your destination, you count yourself blessed. We're just looking at what happened with the bridge today.
Yes.
In Baltimore. So
you told me your son is a truck driver.
So now this is a new journey for him, and I think he's been a truck driver 6 weeks now. So he came out of his training 2 weeks ago, and he now has his own truck that the company provided, and so he's going solo, and as parents do. When I saw in the morning news that the truck went down, and he had told me on Sunday that he was headed towards New Jersey. So I thought, he might be going through that area. And so I texted him and said, answer me right away.
Just send me an emoji.
Something. I just want to know you're getting this message.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm all right. I said, well, a bridge went down in Baltimore. And he said, you know what? I just traveled through Baltimore last night.
Wow.
So,
wow.
So, but, we pray over our children, but anything can happen anywhere at any time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we pray for those folks who are, some are on the bottom of the river.
Yes. As I understand it, was one truck and several cars.
Yeah,
and
so far, a total of 7, and maybe more than that by now.
Yeah.
One of them was a tractor trailer.
Right.
It's
I'm just surprised that there wasn't anything around the pylons to try to protect it, but maybe that's my ignorance.
I think one of the, I'm with you. I don't know enough. Maybe it is just my own stupidity.
Right.
But right now, the big question to me, once we see how many, hopefully, as minimal damage as possible, minimal loss of life and so on. The big question to me is, how does this happen?
Right.
How does it happen? Aren't there alerts? Doesn't the cargo ship get like I don't want to be funny about this. I'm not being funny, but when I back my car up, if I'm going to hit something, my car goes beep, 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 and tells me I'm going to hit something. Didn't that happen there?
The last thing I heard was that it lost power. so it was
That would make
drifting.
sense. Okay.
And the lights, all the lights were off on the
One of our
boat,
reporters did say that. Yeah.
and
Watching here on CNN, it appears what really contributed to all the damage. It looks like he hit right in the middle of the ship,
Right.
or the bridge, and
On
you
the
would
bridge.
think it was at the weakest point.
Right,
And that's
right.
where it just collapsed.
Yeah, the
Right,
structurally most damaging point.
right,
But Bishop
right.
has a great. You would think there would be more protection.
Protection
around those,
because they
yes.
know,
Yeah.
but
I mean, there's a. I'm not suggesting anything nefarious, nor
Oh,
even
no,
anything
no,
that's
no.
something wrong. But I am really curious, just how does this happen? And
Right.
when we get time to analyze this, I'd love to know the details.
well, I'm sure when they rebuild it, they'll put more protection.
Probably so.
Yeah.
You know, when you first started coming here to the show, you were just plain old Reverend. Just plain
I still am.
old Reverend.
Another guy from Cleveland.
And then, what, a couple of years ago or so, you
Yes.
were elevated to bishop
Yes.
around here.
Right.
And now you're a bishop in South Africa?
Yeah.
What the heck is that all about?
So God has blessed that I'm now, I was a regional bishop, so that meant I was over this region. But at the last bishop board meeting, they were kind enough to assign me a diocese, which makes me a national bishop now, and my diocese is the 64th Episcopal Diocese of Port Elizabeth, South Africa, in the Eastern Cape.
Now, you and your wife have been to South Africa several times.
Several
I know we were
times,
talking about that
right?
before,
We've been supporting for the last 7 years, and we've been going for the last 3. And the bishop of that area, who was from Boston, Massachusetts, the bishop of her area went on to his reward, and so they promoted her to be the bishop in somewhere else, and so that left that place that I had been visiting and supporting for several years vacant, and they felt as if I was the most likely candidate.
So it's not new territory to you. You're familiar with the people there. You're familiar with the churches there,
Yes.
the community, and so on. So
Right,
you have some
right.
background there.
Right.
I want to ask you a very specific question and a broader question.
Yes, sir.
Specifically, you're not leaving us, are you?
No, I'm still going to be the pastor of Bethlehem Temple and Shiloh, but it does mean that I will be traveling there more, and that I will be communicating with them more, and be responsible for them now. Before I was just a guest, now I'm the one responsible.
Well, then the more generic question, the bigger question is, you already don't have any time.
This is true.
How in the world, how are you going to add this responsibility? And this isn't just like down the street.
No.
You're talking about something, you're going to have to be traveling there.
Right. It takes 21 hours to travel there, just in the air. That's without the layovers and everything else. Usually we have 3 flights, one from Pittsburgh to Atlanta, and then from Atlanta to Johannesburg, and then Johannesburg to Port Elizabeth. So the truth is, there's the old joke, how did Moses take care of 1 million people in the wilderness for 40 years? And the answer is he leaned on his staff. So I'll be leaning on my staff. I'll be more dependent on them than ever before. Remember, not to turn it into a Bible class, that Paul, who
I've
wrote...
told you before, you often say, I don't want to be a preacher. You're a preacher. It's okay. It's okay. You can give us a Bible lesson.
But just that he wrote the majority of the New Testament, but he was a traveling missionary. He was not there, although that's why he was writing letters, because he was somewhere else traveling, somewhere else ministering. And so in that Pauline spirit, I'll be traveling more. That's all.
But you're going to have to really, you already have to budget your time tremendously.
Yes. And I try to say it every time, and that is, I do get to be the leader of the band. I do get to be the one honored to talk with you and others. But I don't do this by myself. I've never done it by myself. But I will now be even more dependent on others than I've ever been before.
How do you feel about this elevation?
I'm very honored and excited. There's going to be three services. There's one consecration and two installations. A consecration will be in Baltimore, Maryland, the week of July 22nd. Yeah. I'll try not to cross any bridges, but it'll be there the week of July 22nd. We normally have about 10,000 registered people who come to our conference there. We're hoping for the same, and that will be in front of our national audience. Then I'm hoping to have our presider or one of his representatives to come and do a installation here in our local area, and then the last one will be in South Africa at Port Elizabeth. So my grandfather, Chelsea France, who was a pastor in Cleveland, Ohio, he was scheduled to become a bishop, and he died the year of the consecration, and he never made it. My father was scheduled to be a bishop, but never actually became it. He became a suffragan bishop, but never became the bishop. My grandfather on my father's side was also scheduled to become a bishop, never became the bishop. So I'm hoping that God allowed me to live, God allowed me to go through this and be a bishop, hopefully for a long time, that I'm fulfilling their legacy of what they didn't get to do.
Do you have, are there good churches in South Africa, in Port Elizabeth, that you'll be working with? I mean,
there are some wonderful pastors. There is a good
there?
community there. We have 13 churches there in the Port Elizabeth area, where the Eastern Cape that I'll be over. When I was there in February, we were talking about expansion. We're hoping to do that. We've been doing our feeding program over there. They've opened up some doors in some of the schools. I've been speaking at some of the schools over there, just like I speak in the schools here. Basically, I'm doing the same exact thing that I do here community-wise. I'm doing it over there, and I've been honored to do it, and I've been doing it here in Port Elizabeth for the last 3 years, but I have been doing this kind of missionary work for over 20 years. I did 20 years straight in Dominican Republic, and then Brazil, and headed toward India. I was in night with the help of Rotary right here in Wheeling. They sent me to Nigeria for 6 weeks. That was my longest trip that I've ever had, and they kind of helped introduce me to it, and I ministered in England and Paris, and so this is not my first time going out.
Another step along the way.
It's just another step, but it's the first time I'm not working for somebody else. I'm the one in charge.
I want to get to the Easter basket
Yes.
in just one quick second, but first,
Yes, sir.
I know your wife is supportive of everything that you do.
She's been very
Let me
kind
ask
to
you,
us.
did she at one point go, "You're going to do what?" What? Oh, come
Obviously,
on.
you have a recorder in our house, but anyway. But yes, she's concerned, and she says we're already overbooked, and she's absolutely right. And with God's help, we're going to get it done. It's going to take some adjustment. I'm not the first one to do this. I'm not walking on the moon. There are some
But
other
you're the
people.
one in front of me right
Yes,
now, so that's why I'm asking
that's
these
true.
questions.
But I believe with God's help we're going to do it, and it is stressful, and it is challenging, and it is As you talked about the helicopter, you're joking, but I'm serious. It's very transportation is very expensive. It's not you don't get a $99 special to South Africa. It's thousands and thousands of dollars, but and it's non-reimbursable. So I had to pay for it all myself. And when I go and minister in different places in America, normally the place that I'm ministering to pay for my transportation, my hotel. They usually take me out to eat, and then they give me an offering when I leave. But when you go to South Africa, you pay for your transportation, you pay for your food, you pay for your hotel, and you're just honored to be there.
Reverend, we're almost out of time.
Yes,
but
sir.
I always enjoy talking to you so much.
Thank you so much.
I do want to talk about the Easter Foodbasket
Yes,
giveaway,
sir.
which is coming up this weekend. It is
Yes,
one of your
sir.
traditional community events. Tell me about it.
It's hard to believe but it's been 33 years.
Oh,
I don't know that I'm that old, but we've been doing this since the 1990, we will be doing it in the Dream Center. We've come a long ways in the Dream Center, but we still have a long ways to go. It is $1 million project, and we've been trying. One of the reasons it takes so long is because we've been trying to do it cash rather than taking out loans. So, but they'll be during the pandemic. We put it in a box and put it in their car, and they didn't get to pick what they get. But now they get to come in. They can pick what they get. We're going to be having hams and other various meats, our canned goods, our fresh fruits and vegetables, pies. We'll be having Easter clothes for the boys and the girls, mainly for kids. We'll have adult clothes as well. But what we're really trying to do is be a blessing to the family. You know, you've heard that saying, the family that eats together stays together. We've come down to a time where we're all eating in different parts of the house and watching different things. But on holidays such as this, usually a family tries to come together. And so we're trying to provide a family meal that will hopefully help them. We do not have a residency requirement. We don't have an income requirement. All you have to do is say that you're in need. And there are people who definitely work every day who still can't make it.
Just the fact that you're working doesn't mean you
does not guarantee. And I get in trouble with the board because sometimes people see people pull up in Cadillacs and Mercedes, and then who knows what their cash is like. You can be asset rich and cash poor.
And
so.
I've talked this before. I concur with you. You know what? If somebody, quote, scams you,
right.
I'd rather have someone
That's
scam
between
you
them
and
and
give
God.
it to make sure that people who need it get it.
Right.
It is this Saturday. Is that
This
correct?
Saturday at 11 a.m. at the North Wheeling Community Dream Center, 407 Main Street. Will be in the back. Hopefully you'll see a line there. It is a first come, first served basis. I can't guarantee that everybody will get the same thing, but I do want to make sure everybody gets something.
And you'll have a variety of foods for Easter as well as some other items like
Yes.
food and so on as well. Bishop, always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so
always
much.
end up waiting until the end to get to the important stuff. The giveaway, but I just have so much fun talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Good luck as you move along in your businesses, and when we get to Chopper, we'll be
Call me now.
shopping.
Call me now. God bless.
9 o'clock. ABC covers the world.